So many leaders and organizations, they live on this hamster wheel of more and more meaningless tasks, lower and lower profit margins, and a constant talent turnover. It's exhausting, it's frustrating, and it barely qualifies as surviving. That is not the life you, your organization, and yes, your organization does have a life, and your teammates were created for. You were designed to thrive. Thriving means fewer meaningless tasks, more meaningful work, greater profits, drastically less talent turnover. And that's because employees are teammates doing something that matters for people they care about. Okay, so I'm confident Arena Success Group's surviving to thriving system can improve a company's profit margins by 20% and reduce their talent turnover by 20%, and usually in less than 6 months, sometimes as little as 3. But that is not the reason you should work with Arena Success Group. So there's something much more important than that. Um, and I'm going to tell you a story to get to that. So it was 2003, and I remember that because of the van I was sitting in was brand new. I was sitting in my van in the parking lot, the abandoned parking lot in February of a state park. Now, I sat there. Everybody at work thought I was out trying to sell something. My wife thought I was at work, and I was just sitting in there being miserable. I was miserable. I had no reason to be miserable. The van I was sitting in, I had just paid cash for. It was brand new. I owned a house that I and my wife had just got done building. We have 3 wonderful kids. I was a partner in a business that was doing good, or at least reasonably okay, and things were looking good. And I was married to a drop dead gorgeous blonde. I mean, who can beat that, right? But there I was, miserable. And I spent the whole day in that van being miserable. Well, the end of the day comes and I go home because that's what I was expected to do. Got through the evening as if nothing was wrong. Everybody else went to bed, sat in the dark, and I looked around. And after a while, I came to the conclusion. I just decided that my wife deserved a much better husband than that. My kids deserved a father who would give them a much better example of how to live than that. And my business partners deserved a better partner than this. The employees deserved a better leader than this. They deserved a better company to work at than this. I just had to figure out what was the difference between surviving and thriving. And that was the day that really Arena Success Group was born, because that's what I decided to do. It became a passion of mine. And I made a lot of mistakes along the way, but now it's, 17, 18 years later, and I tell people all the time, I don't believe there's a single person in the world who has a better life than me. And not just life right now. I mean, my life in total. I wouldn't trade it for anybody, any place, anytime. So what's the difference? Well, I learned some things, and I'm not going to go over all those things now. I don't have all the answers. Nobody does. But I've got a few. And I've also made enough mistakes that I want to help other people avoid those mistakes. But a couple of things I learned, there are 5 keys to thriving instead of surviving. It's a big deal. And they make all the difference in the world, and they're embedded in our humanity. Now, what was really surprising for me, though, is when I discovered, and it shouldn't have been surprising, that those 5 keys are exactly the same for an organization to thrive instead of just survive. And that really shouldn't have been surprising, because what is an organization? It's a group of people. And the human system in that organization is that's the system that makes everything else work. And we say that all the time, but it's really, really true. So, Arena Success Group was born out of the desire to change people's lives, individual people's lives. I want everyone to live an eternally fulfilling adventure. And I want organizations to live and adventure. And the best way for me to reach a lot of people and help them live an adventure is to make the 8 hours they spend a day, that's usually more time than they'll spend with their spouse in the average day awake, anyways. Make those days surrounded by the things that make life an adventure, that make the difference between surviving and thriving. And organizations are so much more profitable when they too have those 5 keys to survive, to thriving instead of just surviving. So that is why I founded Arena Success Group. Thank you.